Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finals here for the Friday Fortnite 10K powered by UMG. Of course, myself, Landon, Lando Sanders, live here in the seats. Of course, directed now toward my friends, my lovely guys here on the couch. Of course, we've got Taylor Noble, Reflections_II, got Ryan, a.k.a. Ryan Fools. Boys, we have had a heck of a tournament. We've been here for 64 hours now, something along those lines. We've been here for a while, but it's all come down to this, the grand finals here for tonight's tournament. It should be a fantastic one. But quickly before we hop into our predictions as we get ready to load into the game, have to let you guys know, hype for next week, a $20,000 Fortnite tournament next week. Of course, the Friday night series continues. And, of course, we're not just adding into the prize pool. We're doubling it again, $20,000 next week on the line. Make sure to, of course, thank Keemstar and, of course, at UMG Events as well for putting these tournaments on yet again. But it's time to hop into things. It's time for the finals. It's TSM versus the boys and Typical Gamer and Thieves kicking it off.
You know, it all comes down to this is for $10,000, and mind you, second place gets absolutely nothing. It's all about first place for $10,000, $5,000 split between the two members here, and next week even more, $10,000 will be split between the two of them, which is absolutely insane. But here we go, TSM against Typical Gamer and Sword Thief. TSM, my favorite, of course, Landon coming in. You know, you predicted Sword Thief and Typical Gamer to be here, and of course they are. They've been sitting in the winner bracket final for quite some time now, and now TSM has met up with them, fighting themselves through loser bracket to make it to this position. And already starting us off is going to be Typical Gamer there with a good knock, trying to go for a second, but not able to connect enough.
Yeah, of course, we do talk about the little bit of delays for a lot of these streams. TSM guys are the most up-to-date, but as currently stands, looking at Typical Gamer's point of view, can't hate on these guys as far as their play is considered. They are absolute beasts, both of them. I know we got to watch them earlier on play in the tournament. Both of these guys, man, communication, just overall slang ability, they are absolute dons. And as far as Salty Springs is considered, I talked about this earlier, you do not want to be here if you're in this current lobby. You got half of TSM, and you got Typical Gamer, along with, of course, Thieves here. It's going to be awkward time, but just like that, Typical Gamer does get taken down. Just like that, he's dropped. And that is a perfect spot for TSM to be sitting in. Thieves is obviously a beast, but a constant 1 versus 2 at the start of this game, that is absolutely unfortunate. And this is going to be happening here right live in front of us. How did he die in this situation? Does he go for the full kill? Yes, finds onto one. But just like that, the kill from above drops him and say goodbye to Typical Gamer. That is the worst way to start off a final.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the TSM boys have to be feeling really good. They have 1 kill. They're only down 1 kill, but nonetheless now with Sword Thief, the last alive here, you could see on the screen there a Typical Gamer.
Yeah,
look at him grabbing his face. He knows this is a very dangerous situation, right? But mind you, they're still sitting okay because they have to lose 2 series in a row in order to lose this tournament. They have played against TSM previously in this tournament, and because of that, they would have to lose 2 in order for them to lose this tournament. But nonetheless, still hurts, man. You definitely want to come in and win that first one. But now we're going to be watching TSM Daequan here, and look at we're going to see Sword Thief. He's going to be hanging around him, and wisely so.
And I don't mind this play, right? Of course, you're currently down. I mean, there's really hardly any kills on the board as it currently stands. Might as well just try to limit them as much as possible, at least try to eliminate as many kills as they can get. As long as he's hanging with him, he's going to be alive. So I don't really mind this play. I think it is a smart strategy. We might see him drift off from time to time, but what an awkward spot to be in right now if you are Sword Thief, right? Because of the situation you get granted. You're obviously your teammate drops off the break, but yeah, man, it's an awkward spot to be in. But I don't mind the strat that he's pulling out here.
Well, Ryan, talk to me. What are you seeing overall, man? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of agree with Landon. I do think that he has to kind of follow the 2 guys on TSM around to at least disrupt their game. Obviously, you know, the chances of you kind of outslaying 2 kids by yourself isn't too high. So I think your best bet, especially because he does have a little 1 kill lead right now, is to disrupt the 2 TSM guys the best he can. But man, to lose your partner in the first like I guess what minute of the game,
yeah.
It's kind of rough, especially in the grand finals. Do keep in mind though that the Typical Gamer and Sword Thieves team are from winners brackets, so they do only have to win 1 series, while the guys on TSM have to win 2 series. So even if things go south, TSM builds a huge lead, wins the first series. They do have to start all over and do it again. So you know, it's not the worst thing in the world for Typical Gamer and Sword Thief, but not a good start for sure.
And already a Dusty Divot, we're going to see some competition going down. Hamlinz on your screen and just stuck in there. And he's going to probably finish finish off the
A bit
players.
claustrophobic, I think.
Oh,
my
it comes
gosh.
out already knowing there's a player there, and that's going to be 2 down.
Daequan's down. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daequan's fallen, and I
Casual
believe he
mini-putt.
could be dropping any time, trying to watch for his teammate, and I believe he will have his back.
Oh, yeah,
Thief
he's
is
good.
very happy to basically kind of call out his name, take away all of the extra loot that Hamlinz could have grabbed, but yeah, man, smart play coming through, and thankfully, if you're in team's position, it doesn't come down to a 1 versus 1. You got your squad mate back up in Daequan, and now you can kind of look toward the future.
Yeah, and that's currently 5 kills for the team of TSM. Looking really good so far. And, of course, we're still pretty fairly early, or at least middle part of this game. 33 players remaining, and, of course, that's going to make it down to 31 total kills that we could see the players pick off here. Of course, though this is the final, we might have some new viewers here. Landon, how can they win this tournament?
Yeah, man. So as far as the format is considered, essentially you have 4 players put into a lobby, 2 teams of 2. Essentially, we play back-to-back maps. Whoever has the most kills out of the first map then gets added to the second map. So really, it's just straight up about kills. Whoever has the most advances, the second most is out. So it just kind of works as simple as that. It's not about placement. It's straight up about the slays. Question being, how do you find those is really the one to be asking. But, I mean, really so far throughout this tournament, it's really kind of been reliant upon the speed at which they come through, a lot of the strategies of which whether you want to play aggressive at certain points during the game. But, of course, as it stands, our finals squads are here for a reason. Based on their level of play, they've been consistent. And the rematch is definitely living up to the hype.
Yep, and Daequan, if you look at the bottom of your screen there, he has his double pump ready to go. He's got a blue and a green.
It's
and
famous.
It's famous. You know, Daequan is known for that double pump. I mean, he's extremely efficient with it. He's also a great builder. Hamlinz, I mean, we've been talking about him throughout this tournament.
Yeah.
Look how close it is. Currently 4 and 5. Of course, the TSM boys are still leading the way, but nonetheless, Sword Thief, he's now left alive. Of course, his typical gamer was, in fact, dropped earlier from a nice kill coming in from his opponent, but nonetheless, he's managed to keep it between 1 kill. So if he can continue this and stick with the boys from TSM, I believe he can keep it relatively close going into the second round, and that's exactly what you want to do, especially in this different, or especially as this tournament is going to progress.
And I think one thing, if you're Thieves, like some things that would be nice, obviously the pop rocks, you even consider, you know, the jump pad as well. And what he's kind of doing is distancing himself a little bit from the TSM guys. If a shot comes in from the right, if a shot comes in from the left, the TSM guys have to kind of build up, and what Thieves is going to try to do is to flank. He's going to try to catch the enemy off guard, rush toward them, and really try to provide a position to where the TSM guys can't. So I think if he were to have, you know, something like a jump pad where he can try to immediately progress toward an enemy's position, that would be nice. So I think he really needs to be very careful to try to grab this loot. As you see the TSM guys trying to slowly grab that loot, get it away from Thieves, because he likes to kind of play the Dora Explorer, the swiper no swiping role, as they're desperately trying to get all that loot away from it as quickly as possible. But yeah, man, you can't really blame Thieves for the play. He's doing everything he can, but if he can play methodical, kind of, you know, work out the strategy so kind of throughout the game, he could at least, right, bring this one to, you know, a 3 to 4 kill difference is what he's hoping for right now.
Yeah, I think if you're Thieves, you want to try and keep under 5 kills going into the second game.
That'd be ideal.
That's a much more manageable situation than, like we saw Daequan and Hamlinz pull away earlier from a team. Next thing you know, you come into round 2 and you're down 13 kills or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, like I said, his goal right now is just to disrupt, try and pepper in kills where he can in the team fights, and make the second game as manageable as possible for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that scope sniper come out there from the man of Sword Thief. Not able to connect just yet. And actually, we see the boys from TSM. They're actually going to get away just a little bit. We're going to see Daequan currently in an engagement here. Now, we know his building skills are absolutely phenomenal, coming up with that double ramp that he's kind of known for and the double pump coming in. He does take some damage.
Oh, my.
Nonetheless, his building skills are phenomenal. He does have Band-Aids in his back pocket. Hamlinz as well is going to be able to kind of back him up for the time being, as the opponents are, in fact, going to be below him. And there it is.
That drop one at least.
Yep, and that double pump coming out, getting some massive damage on that opponent. They're still not able to finish him off. Of course, he does manage to bring it down, and I believe that is going to be a knock on his part, so he's going to get that as he was able to shoot out the bottom from his opponent. He's going to go ahead and heal up, whereas Hamlinz still in a little engagement
here. I think
here.
Thieves actually stole one. It says that he shotgunned somebody in the kill feed there, so I think Thieves might have got his hand on one of those engagements. I'm not exactly sure which one, of course. In the top left of our screen, we can see exactly how involved Thieves was, but I believe he at least takes down one enemy here. So there is somewhat of a positive at the end of the day, and it looks like, yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he was at 3, now he's at 4. So he does take part of one of those 2 engagements.
So we do have a 5-7 game right now. I mean, not a super mismanaged or unmanageable situation.
Sure. 7 and like what, 18 players alive as well.
Yeah.
18 players alive, 18 possible engagements. And this is, I mean, guys, you got to think if you're alone and you have the opportunity to join up with the enemy team, you might as well do it because you can still kills, you can still resources, and you can really just piggyback off of their success. And you're also a little bit safer, to be honest with you, because it allows for more engagements on the enemy team whenever they start pushing you. They can start shooting at the enemy team. You can come in and just overall get some easy picks there. And we've seen it to where literally the opponent has been down to 1 shot from one player, and then the other player on the enemy team comes in and manages to pick off 1 shot, just 1 shot, and pick up the kill. It's kind of dirty, but it's the way that the game is played, and that's the rules of the tournament, and it plays out in their favor. But nonetheless, a very close game coming between the two. As we see, it's going to come down to now 14 players left, 14 engagements. It's relatively slow, but it's going to get tighter as the Storm is moving in.
It is, and of course you can kind of see Thieves' top left perspective. He's just like he's hanging out here, man. And I noticed the little bit of equipment. You see that I believe it's trying to be very careful. Thieves nearly grabbed some of that equipment. It's getting a little bit nerve-wracking, and I don't believe that Thieves grabbed anything. I'm not 100% sure. It's a little bit sketchy to see, but man, pretty awkward stuff in that situation for TSM. Of course, being very wary of that equipment. Do not want to drop anything that could give Thieves somewhat advantage, right? He's not at full shields, and it looks like, they do kind of hand over the AR, and Thieves just doesn't really want to get any part of that. He's not trying to mess up too much of their strategies. Of course, all fun and games, but $10,000 on the line. And right now, TSM in a prime position to book their ticket to what could be the second best of 5 for these guys. It looks like Hamlinz is debating on taking a far back point of view. He does not want to get involved with that Storm whatsoever. And just like that, Thieves falls. A great play for them, right, in this situation. They allow the Storm to make the play happen. They back
Thieves
up.
is gone.
Thieves goes down.
And they are in a perfect spot for this map, too, that's going to be coming up here shortly.
You know, we've seen them in this position against Noah J and Avery where both of the players in the enemy team did, in fact, get dropped, and now we saw them clean up the remaining people. And this could be big if they're able to knock out that platform. Of course, the Storm is going to be chasing them in. They do have an engagement currently in front of them, forcing them to build up. The Storm, though, has, in fact, stopped, so that is going to be a very advantageous thing on their part. I do believe Rockets are maybe moving in from the back. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know which one it was coming in. But nonetheless, they're still engaging some players coming out from the Storm. Now,
there's a lot of potential frags that they have on their plate right here.
But note, if the Storm does knock them, they don't get it, but they
Thieves
do
just got
get
2 eliminations, I think, after being dead. I think he might have had 2 kids down in the Storm.
Oh.
That actually works out for the best for him.
Absolutely.
That's
That's making the best out of a bad situation. Like,
we could end this game with a roughly 5 or less kill lead. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there's 9 total engagements still left, and the only guys left is the TSM boys, at least in terms of our tournament. So the Storm, or the Circle, is getting pretty tight overall. We'll see if they're going to be able to spot anybody just yet. He's going to go ahead and dip into corner. Daequan is to go ahead and use some band-aids to get up to 75 health. May see some apples around, may not, but he does see an engagement. That's going to take priority.
And there's a lot of building here toward the base of this fortress and wants to have that high ground advantage. Also spots one player who happens to try to get involved in the kills as well, as Daequan will limit his overall build, trying to get in toward the western side portion. But it looks like, I believe, Hamlinz comes in forward, takes down one, and wants to keep the shotgun flowing. The pump shot, he doesn't just work for Daequan, it also works for Manham, as he will knock down yet again another player. Looking pretty solid right now is TSM, as quick kills going back and forth either which way. Of course, it's TSM filling up the kill feed as they're looking in a prime spot to have a very solid lead heading in toward this map.
Good edit.
Number 2, a fantastic edit, exclamation point here, just outside of Salty Springs.
Yeah, and we're only going to see 3 engagements currently left. They've managed to get all of them since the point there was 9 engagements, so they're doing phenomenally well, increasing their lead. They might even come in with a 6 or 7 point lead moving into the next game here. Now, mind you, they still have to win another series if they want to try and take over this $10,000 first place prize, but they're looking good. Even going back to the Nova and Avery match, I mean, they were looking so incredibly well. I mean, they've just been beaming. They've been doing phenomenally well. Now we got a total of 2 more engagements. I don't see any reason why they can't pick up the last 2 and continue their lead moving forward. I think he's going to go. Yep, there he goes. He's going to finish it. Now only 1 left.
Jeez, so right when we were talking about it getting manageable, they went on a rampage.
Yep. And this is what they do.
They've been consistent with this, yeah.
They're very consistent with it. They know when to hang back, but whenever it comes to being aggressive, they can be aggressive and still be in control. And this guy's just, he's just stuck in the room. There's no way he's getting out of this. And there it is.
Whew. And Hamlinz escapes with 2 HP. Not that it would have really made much of a difference, but yeah.
He's just showing off now.
Absolutely.
Like, that's insane. Like, I think he literally just knocked over his mic. He was building so fast. But man, 10 kills coming in from Hamlinz. I'm not exactly sure how many from Daequan, but they're going to have a pretty decent lead when it comes to the map 2 of our Series 1. Keeping in mind, if you guys are just joining us, Losers Bracket Run is what TSM is trying to make happen right now. If they do win our first best-of-3 series, they get to obviously force another, obviously coming in from the Losers Bracket. So you want to talk about momentum, right? When you really kind of look, at least as far as my history in esports, a lot of teams, if they lose the first map, if they start to catch a little bit of that loss early, when they realize the road ahead, the mountain they have in front of them, they have to beat. If they have even just a sign, right, of that negativity, it's so hard to want to come back from that when you realize how much is at stake, how much is left. So I think the ability for Typical Gamer to get knocked out early was just music to their ears. I think at one point Daequan was dropped or something along those lines, where one player was in a pretty awkward position. That big heal comes in through. So I think that's just perfect fuel to the fire. That game 1 is the perfect, opportunity for the TSM guys to definitely make an opportunity, not just to win this series, but to win the entire finals here for tonight.
Yeah, TSM's been my favorite team, at least moving into this tournament. I've really enjoyed watching them play, and I thought they were doing incredibly well. They stream all the time. They play nonstop. They're on one of the top competitive teams in this the circuit. And to do these tournaments and see them, at least I think this is the second tournament. So this is a great thing that we're seeing from the TSM squad. And I got to give a shout out to Keemstar. Thank you once again for putting on this tournament and helping us out. And it looks like we're already going in to the second game. Of course, you're looking down at the bottom of Sore Thief. Of course, his stream is a little bit delayed. So is Typical Gamer, but that's okay. We'll follow along as we can go here. Now, we haven't seen the score just yet. Hopefully, we'll get a scoreboard relatively soon, so we'll be able to see the total score overall. But I do know that there it is, 7-15. So that's going to be what, 8 kill lead. So even better than I thought. I thought it was going to at least be 6 or 7. But with an 8 kill lead, not too bad going into the second game. Let's see how Typical Gamer and Sore Thief respond.
And it looks like everyone's going toward the same position. At least Thieves is continuing to follow here with the TSM boys. So. I mean, hey, like we said, we keep talking about the strategies. TSM every single time is going Salty Springs. And it looks like Thieves is trying to, or actually Typical Gamer, all 4 of these guys are here. This just happens to be the most typical strategy when it comes down to this map, as there is potential for 2 chests to be down here. We'll see if any could be at all. And it looks like not even one, as Typical Gamer steals the sniper right out of Hamlinz's hands.
Swiped.
This is a dangerous position for both, even with the
I love this, man. Like, they're back. Like, Typical Gamer doesn't mind. Like, he's like, hey, man, get out of my way. He's boxing him out right now.
But still, I mean, this is a dangerous situation for both. They don't have really anything to run around with. I mean, a sniper is a great weapon, especially later on in the game, but just up close and personal whenever you come to these fights and engagements, I mean, you get to see a replay now of him still in that. You can see the smile on his face. He's happy he did that. I'd be too. I'd be very pleased with myself. But nonetheless, I mean, not a lot of engagements potential here, but we'll see what's going to go down as we're seeing not a lot happening just yet. No kills, and really nobody. I'm not seeing any enemies so far here at Salty.
Which is surprising, too. That's definitely one of the more populated areas in the game.
I think everyone's watching this stream like, okay, I'm never going Salty again. Like, I do not want to risk running into either 4 of these players, because it would not be a long time to stay alive. But like you said, guys, I mean, Salty is by far the most profitable place, the most notable place. It's definitely in the meta for the #1 location. I think it's fair to say, for teams who necessarily want to kind of play in that middle style. As somehow I think Hamlinz has picked up 3 gray revolvers.
I see that.
That sucks. Like that. Plain and simple. That's kind of unfortunate. Granted, you got to duel them, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
One thing I want to point out is I do like that TSM kind of stuck to their guns, and just because they had a lead, they didn't go to some unpopulated area, try and play it safe, whatever. They're sticking with what's working. They're sticking with what's getting them kills, and I think that's going to really be helpful for them as they kill a potato.
Well, he's still managing to make those revolvers work. He got some major damage, finishes them off with the revolver, in fact, and maybe he can get some good loot. At least he's getting some shield there. He also got some resources as well, but still nothing. I mean, he only has a gray R. That's really his main weapon that he's going to be using here, especially moving into Dusty Divot. You're going to be having players potentially coming out of there with some massive loot, including some major shotguns that could, in fact, pose a big threat moving into further engagements. I mean, we're looking at Daequan. He does have a little bit, including that automatic rifle there on the bottom, which we saw Ninja go absolutely clutch with.
Hamlinz's aim there was just, or to me, Daequan's aim was just absolutely insane right there.
Daequan, when he goes off, he goes off. But this is an area we've seen them struggle with. Daequan needs to be a bit careful here.
Definitely does. Of course, when you're flying through the skies, anything can happen. And just like that, there goes the knockdown. And I believe, that will come through from Hamlinz. Daequan also will finish him off. So a nice play coming through, as that will be the second kill, actually, coming in from Hamlinz. But at the same time, I believe on the opposite side of the map, we actually see a Typical Gamer stealing a few of these kills. TSM are happen to be swarming him, but it's Typical Gamer who's stealing these right out from underneath them. Will grab one of these, and just like that, actually has 2 snipers in his back pocket, so kind of an awkward play. But regardless, though, man, takes down one and has the ability to drop a second just behind that rock, and I believe he could do it here. As it looks like coming down to the end. Can he find the snipe is the question, and no, Hamlinz will find that kill. So a trade back and forth. Typical Gamer steals one of TSM's kills, and just like that, Hamlinz responds back.
And with that being said, TSM came in 8 kills lead, and we're going to see now currently 3-1 on your board there, or excuse me, 3 kills for TSM. Hamlinz with 3, so that's going to be 11 total, but of course you got to subtract that 1, so what is that? That's going to be a total of 10, so still a 10-kill lead and increasing for TSM, but a lot can change here, especially if the boys from TSM just happen to drop in an unlucky fight, or maybe one of their opponents is going to get a good drop on them, but also the same thing can happen for Typical Gamer and Sword Thief. We've seen that, and right now still being in Dusty Divot, this is a very vulnerable place for them to be. They're going to go ahead and dip out, and they're going to follow the TSM squad over to Loot Lake.
And I'm kind of surprised as well, like we kind of look at this game, there's still 60 people up. Like usually I feel like when we're looking at this game, it's like, okay, around 40 to 30 range. There's kind of like the extra 20 where it's a matter of, are those guys just playing a lot more stealthy? Are they good players? Are they kind of mediocre guys? Like, you don't really know who you're facing off against, but I'm kind of surprised with the level of players that we still have up right now. We've already seen 2 different locations for both these squads have gone, and seeing over half the lobby up it's got to be at least a little bit something to kind of bring up. But it looks like, speaking of tilted, it looks like the TSM boys are venturing off as a little bit of a late game push, and what I like about this is that they have the zone to their advantage. So as long as they hold this position, they know that players have to be at least thinking about entering in toward this range. They can also find some nice little weapons from here to there. And if they can find one guy who may be one tilted, they can find all the loot in the world.
At least we see Hamlinz now finally getting at least some sort of color inside his repertoire there. He picks up a green shotgun, a pump shotgun. It's going to help out a little bit, especially with attack there. But nonetheless, Daequan is still looking really good with his double pump. Already some engagements going down. Daequan gets the knock, and it looks like Hamlinz is going to come in and get the finish. And then, of course, they're going to be pushing forward. Still quite a few players left inside of this area. Tilted Towers and another knock coming in as well. And they're going to continue dominating this lead. We could very well see a second series here and to put TSM at least in a potential, or at least for a run to take it over, as now Daequan not only has got the double pump, he's got that assault rifle, he just picked up an AR, a purple AR, and he's looking really good so far. Hamel still needs a little bit more work on his inventory, but nonetheless, he does have the most kills out of the both of them.
It does look like we're going to a second series right now. TSM came into the game with an 8-kill lead. They already have a lead coming into the second game. I mean, short of some short of some tragedy happening on the TSM side, I think we're going to be going to a second series. And you got to wonder at this point, man, TSM has been making it look easy for the last few matches. I don't think that if I'm Typical Gamer and Sword Thief, I'm a little worried.
This is the TSM that I really enjoy watching. When I watch their streams, this is how they play, and they're nice. They're in control. They know when to push. They know when to back off, and which if they ever do back off, to be quite honest with you. But TSM was looking just like I expected them to look in this tournament. This is why I favored them. But with that being said, Typical Gamer picks up a really nice sniper shot on that player who is currently engaged, and it looked like on the TSM squad as well. He may get the shot, but TSM Hamlinz is in fact going to get the loot, and he manages to get some more color. Not only does he have the green pump, he's also going to pick up the blue burst rifle, but still not a lot of meds. He only has 5 band-aids in his back pocket. Daequan not looking any better in terms of meds, but maybe they'll pick up something as they're going to go on. Their health, their shield's still looking relatively well.
And what I like from TSM and what we're seeing them play right now is they're playing the circle. They're playing the storm. They know where these guys are going to be coming from. And it's really right now Thieves and Typical Gamer who are a step behind, right? I mean, these guys, they're initiating the fight when it comes down to Tilted Towers. They're initiating the fight when it comes down to out of Shifty Shafts. And as they're going to find all the loot in the world right now, where's Typical Gamer? Where are Thieves at? They're constantly behind them. Like, we're seeing some good plays come in from them from time to time, but a majority of it has come in from TSM off the rip. And really, if they want to find these kills, they have to be thinking ahead. They have to be thinking right ahead of the opposition, and they're not doing that right now. This player just happens to be having the worst issue in the world, using impulses to hop on this wall here, which they're going to find some nice frags, right?
That's good.
But you know, in general, I think, like you said, Ryan, I think it's a little bit too late. They do have the opportunity to take out a few more from time to time, but I feel like generally TSM has been in the driver's seat, not just in the series, but as far as their overall location on the map.
They can't afford to just keep trading kills back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You came into this game with an 8-point deficit. You have to be the heavy aggressor. You have to be the one setting the tone. You need to be the one that TSM is following, not you following TSM. So, like I said, short of some tragedy happening on the side of TSM, I do think we're going to go to a second series, which poses the question, what can Sword Thief and Typical Gamer do to kind of put themselves in a better position in the second series? Because, to be honest, this one kind of looked easy for TSM.
Oh, yeah. This looked pretty much like a cakewalk. And granted, that was off the early Game 1 play of Typical Gamer dropping early and Thieves just kind of hanging on the shoulders, essentially, of the TSM boys. But, yeah, we're seeing Daequan rock out the double pump. That's what he's known for, and that's why it is exactly that. Breaks the barrier, and there's really scars to go around, as they're going to try to hide that as much as they possibly can from Typical Gamer, of course, along with Thieves. But got a rocket launcher in their back pocket. They've also got at least, 2 more, or at least 1 more jump pads. So they're looking pretty decent. Honestly, as long as they can kind of stay alive toward maybe like the last 18, 17, 16 range as far as players are considered, they should be good to force this second best of 5, or excuse me, second best of 3 rather.
We basically have tie game in terms of kills this game. However, like we said, TSM is coming in with an 8-point lead. So, I think as long as they keep trading kills like this, looks like TSM has it.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, a lot can go down as we're seeing 21 players left, -4. That's going to put it down, math is hard. 17 more engagements, and now it's going to be 16 engagements overall. As another
so you count on your fingers.
I did. You know what? Sometimes you got to use the fingers for the math, all right? But 16 more engagements left. They only need 8. So with that being said, crazy things can happen.
Oh, absolutely.
As we are going to see Dusted Divot being pushed once again from Typical Gamer as well as Sword Thief. And then, of course, there's a little lag on Sword Thief's end, or at least a latency that he kind of put on there. But then again, TSM squad picks up another kill. That's not what you need, especially with such limited engagements left in this game.
If you're TSM, if you're Daequan and Hamlinz, you basically have to, we call it esports, value your life. You just need to stay alive. Make sure. It can be one of those times now where you go find Typical Gamer and Sword Thief and follow them around, harass their kills, make life harder for them. That's
what we're seeing.
I say that it's right in front of them.
And they have split up a little bit. They were really close to get. Well, actually, Daequan looks like he's chasing Typical Gamer over there, but they do have a little bit of a split there, nonetheless. And I got to tell you, TSM's looking like a totally different team, at least from the beginning of the tournament that we saw.
Oh yeah, like in their initial matchup and winners, right? We saw Typical Gamer and pretty much Thieves have a pretty easy time. I mean, it was fairly close from certain moments, but it was really a matter of I think it was Hamlinz ended up dropping earlier. They actually split apart And it was a matter of them having a huge deficit. Daequan had to go huge instead of, I think it was like retail row. He ends up escaping with like 12 kills in total, but not enough. This is a totally different sequence. We're seeing both Hamlinz and Daequan playing at the top of their game. I think they've officially warmed up. That losers bracket was nice for them to kind of catch a little bit of fire. And, yeah, man, they're back into this one. We're seeing the building coming out from Hamlinz instead of the trees as he's just kind of swinging around right now trying to get a little bit of a perspective on the final players in this map. And lasering back and forth, like literally does not miss a bullet.
No, that's what he's known for. I mean, like you said, coming in, what is a 43% win rate in total whenever it comes to his overall stats?
It's in the 40
48%?
range, yeah,
I
which
mean,
is unheard of.
It's one of the highest. But then again, you look on the other end too. You look at Soar, right? Soar has the same thing, right?
Well, I think it was Thieves was within the top 5%
of
basically every single
everything,
category in solos, duos, and squads. I think the only thing he wasn't within the top 5%, he was in the top 7% of, I think it was solo win rate. So, I mean, you know, whatever, right? I mean, he is a darn in multiple facets of the game. So I think that's interesting to watch. And maybe for future tournaments when it comes down to Thieves, of course, the bottom left of your screen, he's not just good in duos. He's also good in the other aspects of the game, which is squads and solos.
And I do believe it is now mathematically impossible for TSM to lose this. So it does appear that we are going to a second series for the second week in a row. We have a bracket reset, the team coming out of losers. And it feels kind of like last week where the team out of losers, which was Nick and Cypher, made the first series look pretty easy. Second series followed.
It was pretty much even easier in the last week, right?
So it sounds a little bit like history might be repeating itself, but
definitely could, man. And it's fair to say, right? At least looking on paper, TSM, it's expected for them to be here. I know as far as Typical Gamer and Sword Thief, a little bit of a sleeper pick, but they placed top 6 last tournament. They had a very solid run, so you can't take anything away from them. But I noticed whenever I was watching during one of our commercial breaks, it was King Richard, and he was kind of talking about the recent loss, but he was saying that, you know what, we learned so much just from this one tournament that we know what to expect now. Like, we didn't know anything coming into this tournament, how it was going to be, the format, etc., what it was going to be like. But he's like, okay, now we're better prepared for next time. We know what to expect. And I think that's such a huge facet that a lot of these guys are learning from tournament to tournament is what to expect. How do these matches go? What's the meta? Essentially, of course, the funny quote, where are we dropping, boys? But literally, what's the typical place to go? What's the equipment?
Salty Springs.
Yeah, apparently that's the one and only location for at least the TSM boys. But yeah, I think it's a big learning curve when it comes down to these tournaments, and I'm very excited to see the $20,000 tournament that we're going to have next week. Of course, just next Friday, guys. If you didn't see the announcement, $20,000 on the line for our Friday Fortnite tournament. We're only adding toward the prize pool and only adding toward the fun of these awesome streams that we have.
Got the dancing going on, feeling good. They know.
New emote, I believe, from Typical Gamer there.
Yeah, and they know at this point it's over, right? It's mathematically impossible. That's okay, though, having a little bit of fun, and it shows.
The guy kills himself, too.
I like the fact they're not taking it too seriously at this point. They know, hey, let it go. This is in the past. We're going to move on.
Call it Frozen, let it go.
Second series, and just there you go.
It's like your dance, Taylor.
All right.
What was that? I just heard to make up like a sound effect. That was not it whatsoever.
That wasn't it, man. That wasn't it. I got to tell you, sometimes you're on the mark. That one just missed.
Yeah, that was off the board. Yeah, not even close. By the way, Hamlinz just happens to have 2 chug jugs now, so he's feeling pretty good. He's drinking up.
Man, look at that, 17 kills between the both of them. Phenomenal.
But
they're not bad on Typical Gamer and Sword Thieves either. I mean, that first game just got away from them, or else this game would have been really, really, really close.
We're just going to assume, for TSM's sake, that's Dr. Pepper in those chug jugs, right, for Hamlinz there. So drink up, everybody. But, yeah, I mean, Hamlinz, Daequan, they're going to take this series number 1. And just like that, we have the bracket officially reset. One more series to crown us champions. I feel like the stakes couldn't get any higher.
No.
It's about how close these games are. This is the closest that it can possibly get, a second map in our grand finals. I don't think it can get better, but it keeps getting even better as time goes on.
You know, we've seen so much great action in this tournament, so many upsets, so many surprises. And this one here, I mean, honestly, is another surprise coming in. TSM phenomenal stuff coming in from them. They look like a totally different team. They're playing phenomenally well, and now we're coming into a bracket reset for $10,000 on the line, $5,000 between the two of them.
Jeez,
of course,
man.
this is looking really good, setting ourselves up for the next tournament of $20,000. Of course, we've got to be looking out for TSM as well as the other team, Typical Gamer, as well as Sore Thief, and not to mention too Noah J, Avery, and of course other teams as well. Ninja. I could just keep going on and on about the stacked tournament that we had here, and it's only going to be better next week. That you guys totally got to join us. But still, the situation at hand, bracket reset, TSM going against Typical Gamer, as well as Thief, Sore Thief going up. It's been a long night, but how you guys feeling about it in the bracket reset? We just saw the first one. What do you think was the deciding factor? And I guess we'll start with Ryan. What was the deciding factor between the first game and second game?
I mean, right now TSM is just rolling. I don't even think there was, for them, was a huge difference between the first game and the second game. I mean, they were pretty much nonstop. Both games had the same amount of kills, roughly landing the same spots, working well together, getting all the kills. I mean, they're engaging teams of four together. They're just on point right now. I don't know, and it makes you wonder, like, is it momentum based? Right, they've been playing some matches. Meanwhile, Sore Thief and Typical Gamer have been sitting for, I mean, quite a few hours now, not playing. You know, maybe getting iced a little bit. I don't know, but I mean, if I'm a betting man, you got to imagine that, you know, you got to kind of favor the team of TSM coming to this last game of the entire tournament. They've kind of got a hot streak and didn't look back.
Yeah. And what about you, Landon? What are you thinking?
I think as far as game one is considered, you really have to take a look at when Typical Gamer died early. Like that really kind of set things, or really kind of set the tone for what would probably be the future of this series. We see a pretty good start from TSM. I think they start off pretty decent, of course, in their typical landing spot. But I think when Typical Gamer dies, it's kind of like, okay, Thief has to play the passive role. He has to kind of stay with these guys, hope that they don't find as many kills as they do, and that's where, like I said, the top 20 players are alive. That's when TSM is finding basically everyone. They know the lanes, they know the circle's closing in, and they're rotating around the entire thing, kind of watching everyone as they kind of commence when it comes into the final circle. But I think that kind of initial down that we see coming from Typical Gamer really kind of set the tone. That was the opportunity where it was like, okay, TSM, that's the gas they needed, that's the fire that they need, and just like that puts them in the perfect position to want to have that momentum to force this second game. So I think as far as, you know, when it comes into both these teams right now, without question, TSM has momentum. They have the fire. And for anyone who doesn't say momentum exists in esports, get out of here. It absolutely exists. The mentality, the thought process, the mental game, without question is there. Of course, Fortnite esports is young, it's new, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how TSM can potentially bring this one back, or can my guys, Typical Gamer and Sore Thief, can they finally bring it back?
Well,
can one of them not die off the start is the question to be asking.
Do we see all four players landing together again?
I want to say something. If you guys notice a trend here, where are we going? We're going Salty Springs.
Where are we landing, boys? Salty Springs.
We have literally gone Salty Springs to the same exact house, and in fact, it's once again going to be Hamlinz going against Typical Gamer inside this house once again as a race. He does get a little bit of an advantage, though. He finally gets a pump. We saw last time.
It's like a replay.
It is, and we saw last time Typical Gamer stole that shot, or excuse me, that sniper out of his hands, but I think he's going to get a little bit of a better advantage there, getting that green pump. And will enemies be there again? I don't know. Last time there wasn't any engagements. Will we see engagements here? We'll definitely have to see as soon as they're going to be exiting out. And it doesn't look like there's too many people there just yet. And really, and once again, a slow start. We saw this last time too. So obviously it's going to be about just roaming around and getting those picks. But, yeah, as I got to say, though, we're going to be on board now with TSM Daequan. He's actually going to see a player over there beaming him down, gets a couple of shots, but, of course, Thief's hot on the trail looking to take over those kills. He's going to be building up right behind him and, of course, to stack on it. And he does, in fact, knock out one of the players there. That's going to be big, especially early on. Now, if you guys don't know, we just did a series reset, so we're back to square one. And this is going to determine who is going to move on to win the $10,000. So every kill now is going to count. Every knockdown is going to count. And trust me, the pressure has got to be on these two teams.
Oh, for sure. A lot of pressure on the shoulders of all four of our competitors. Taking a look at a quick little replay from Typical Gamer as we're seeing some early engagements taking place just toward the southwestern side of Salty Springs. But, of course, all players just trying to grab their loot, and it looks like TSM yet again kind of pulling out the same strategy mid-game, quickly trying to go for those pop rocks, try to grab something a little bit toward Dusty Divot. and they're continuing to kind of hang on the edge of this circle. And I love that play from them. In the last series, they were consistently ahead of their opponents, always thinking ahead, being one step in front of the opposition. Along with Typical Gamer following early, that was really a number of different facets led to the boys from TSM winning the first series, and that was really one of them, was their overall kind of play style and their mentality. And that's what they're used to in scrims, what they're used to in facing off against other pro teams, is that knowledge of where's the enemy going to be lingering, what do we need to focus on for the future, and having that mentality of what happens next.
And this was the replay, or excuse me, of course he has a little bit of stream delay, but this was him coming in and kind of piggybacking off what TSM Daequan was getting those shots off, as well as Hamlinz, and he managed to come in and get those kills. So looking relatively well. They've got 2 kills. We're looking over, though, at Daequan. Got to pay attention. He's got 3 kills. Of course, there is a little bit of a delay. Things may have happened, and actually looking at Typical Gamer, you can actually see Daequan lighting up the scoreboard there, and that's where he got the 3 kills back-to-back. Phenomenal stuff coming from him. And, you know, continuing that momentum moving forward, we'll see if it's going to happen. Still, a lot of engagements to happen, as we're going to see 51 players still alive.
Now, you know what I want to see? We've been talking about, you know, where the zones have kind of come to at the end. I want to see, like, the final zone go in toward Tilted Towers. I want to see a final circle go down there, like, you know, kind of have that high leverage, different type of play style. We've kind of been seeing pretty much a typical, you know, final storm, final circle, kind of near that dusty divot position. We haven't really seen anything out of the ordinary when it comes down to the circle. Like, we've seen, I think, like, what, 2 loot lakes, but nothing when it comes down to Tilted. I want to see something like that happen. I want a lot of kills. I want to see, like, us in the 30, 40 range when it comes down to the end of this match. But yeah, Thieves, of course, getting involved in the kill feed as per usual, adding Tor 2, and right now Typical Gamer actually taking a little bit of damage, needs to back up, needs to reassess the situation, has some bandages in his back pocket. We'll see if he can finish off any of these engagements and using that perfect editing to his advantage. It looks like, yeah, Thieves comes through, finds the kills necessary, and just like that, slowly taking away at that lead is Typical and Thief.
Kind of curious to see now the overall score. I believe just a couple of kills separating them. Now, you notice Daequan got the 3 kills, but nonetheless, they've hit a dry spell, especially over here by Loot Lake. Typically is going to be very dry, but as they're going to push forward, they might get some further engagements. But, of course, this is the RNG coming into play, right? They both land at Salty, but they both take different approaches whenever it comes to pushing out. We're going to see, of course, Typical Gamer and Sword Thief. They are in Retail Row. It's worked out for them. They've had some engagements there. They picked up some kills. Hamlinz, Daequan, they pushed Luke Lake. They keep pushing over to the other end, maybe working their way over toward Tilted. Can't tell at this point, but nonetheless, that's not working in their favor in terms of engagements. And, of course, that's all that we want. And look at that. That is the Thieves that we know.
I think they've taken the lead now.
I think they did, in fact, take the lead. That was a beautiful 2-piece.
Yeah, and really when you're looking at it, it's 3 kills on one side, solely for Daequan, and it's actually 4 out of the 5, actually, for Thief and for his squad. So kind of 2 guys leading the way for their sides respectively.
Another down coming in.
Yeah, another down looks to be coming in from Thief. And just like
2
that.
downs. Thief is on fire right now.
He's going off, man. He thought he said the first series was a fluke. We're back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Thief that we want to see, especially Typical Gamer wants to see coming from him, right? He's already at 6 kills. Looking at it, the score is relatively close. Now, one thing, though, Hamlinz and Daequan do have, they are at Tilted. Of course, it has been relatively quiet so far. They haven't seen anybody just yet, but we do see a buildup coming in from Hamlinz. Shots are going to be fired on that opponent, and he is, in fact, going to get the knock. Of course, his opponents.
Doesn't finish him, though.
He doesn't finish him, but, of course, I think he at least hears somebody is going to be over there. But one thing that they do have the advantage of is Daequan is also there in his back pocket to come and back him up. Some engagements still going to continue down. He does have that upper ground, and what
Pop rock player.
A great advantage point there.
That's with a green burst, ladies and gentlemen.
Incredible accuracy on a player with pop rocks.
Guy is 1 shot. Let's see if he can finish him off.
Now, Hamlinz did have a down there. I'm not sure if either the player got revived or if he hasn't got the full kill yet.
I
think that situation, you killed the player.
Oh,
Thieves does go down, though.
Yep, Thieves gets dropped. And that's a huge moment for TSM. We talk about in the very first map of our first series, Typical Gamer gets dropped. That totally changes the tide of the game. And just like that, Thieves falls officially. It's yet again another 1 versus 2. And talk about a blessing for TSM, a 2v1 to continue us on here for map 1 of our second best of 3.
This is going to be quite interesting to see. TSM thrives whenever the enemy team drops, especially late game. We've seen TSM in those late game positions. They come through, and they manage to get at least 8 more kills whenever you expect them just to kind of chill out, right, and kind of even the playing field. But nonetheless, Typical Gamer now has got an uphill battle. They did have the lead coming in. I think they had a 3-point lead, but now TSM was going to be able to
Typical
close
Gamer goes
in
down,
on them.
guys.
Typical Gamer does go down. He's not going to be
Wow.
revived. And like I said, this is where TSM is going to thrive. Normally, this happens later on. Daequan, though, again, as I say, that is going to take some damage. Hamlinz is going to take some damage. He's going to go down. Now, Daequan,
Wow.
last alive here.
This is a big moment for him,
This is a
right?
huge moment.
TSM doesn't have that many kills right now,
Yeah,
too. So
they're They're down right now, right? As
They
far as
are.
the
Yes,
second
it's 9
series
to
is
4.
considered.
They are.
Yeah, if Daequan is going to tell the tale of what happens in this series, whether or not
needs to
the
get
initial
kills.
downs really make that much of an impact, it's all on Daequan. Has double shotguns in his arsenal, not pumps necessarily,
Not
but
pumps.
he's definitely got the shinies in his favor. No rockets actually either.
If you're Daequan right now, I mean, it's hard to be too aggressive, but you need to really
Ooh,
close
nice
that.
pick
Finish
up.
him off. Got to finish him. Got to at least get the kill. Nonetheless, I know he's thinking he's going to get pushed, but that's a good finish. Every kill, in fact, is going to count here, and the enemy is also going to push him, and he
Ooh.
manages
Nice.
to get a nice kill.
There's
He's
some-
going to
there's
get
some pumps on the
sweet
ground.
look. He's going to get a rocket launcher. He's going to get some minis as well, which he drastically needed, being down to 75 health. He's got his double pump. He's got a green AR, and hopefully he can find some rockets moving in. And does he pick up the bolt? He doesn't. He's going to opt out and use the bandages.
And players from above as well, nearly trying to get the down. However, his shield is weak, and just
Oh!
like
Like
that,
down.
he
Ooh.
falls. So only 5 kills. He does find a few toward the end, but not much of a difference when you really look at things as far as the ending of that series, right? I think it's still somewhat of an advantage toward Typical Gamer and Thief, despite the early exit that they make.
I want to say they have a 3-kill lead, maybe
Something like that,
along
yeah.
the lines of 3 kills. I mean, that's still, only a team fight of maybe one team
Oh, yeah.
off an initial. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
9 to 6, 3-kill
Wow.
lead.
That's like we were talking about. Like, oh
Yep.
my gosh, like Thieves drops. Okay, this is looking pretty bad. I mean, that's a blessing in
Oh.
disguise. They narrowly escape out of that.
Sure.
And so now we're sitting at 9 to 6, a 3-kill difference, heading in toward our final game of the night.
Comes down to this.
Yeah, it definitely does. And this is for $10,000 on the line, right? The final game, unless they tie it, we could go to a game 3. Crazier things have
Oh,
happened.
God.
AKA Ninja has
The,
happened.
Ninja
the
has
craziest
happened.
thing happened, yeah.
on Tilted Towers. That was a blessing to see,
That was
man.
amazing,
Come
yeah.
on, that was awesome to see. One more kill would have sealed the deal. It could have
That
been
was
definitely
insane.
different
That was a
final.
dream. I don't even think that actually happened.
I don't know, man. A Ninja, he makes things happen, and we saw it. But here you are, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, please tweet at us at UMG Events. Let us know who you think is going to take it. I mean, TSM, they are down 3, but 3 isn't a lot. We've seen bigger comebacks happen. AK, once again, Ninja, I think they were down 11, but he came back, manages to get 23 kills.
23.
He got 23 kills in that one.
Solo.
But with that being said, 3 kills is by far one of the lowest we've seen.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
seen 6, 10, 11.
It's nothing to feel confident
On
in.
a map with 100 players on it, 3 in the grand scheme of things isn't
Doesn't
very
really
much.
matter.
Again, that's a team fight. So, I mean, I think, again, we're going to probably see both players landing salty again. That seems to be kind of like the kind of going meta right now.
Typical, yeah.
They are loading in right now. But,
Yeah. Guys, if you haven't heard so already, we do have a giveaway going on right now. Use the exclamation point in the chat, exclamation point raffle,
Yep.
and you'll be entered in to win potentially
Some battle passes.
some battle passes, baby. I think we got like a few battle passes to give away.
we have 5 battle passes to give away.
And how much are they worth?
I think a battle pass goes for $10 worth of V-Bucks.
$10 worth of V-Bucks, which is pretty good. Hey, pick yourself up the new dance that just came out. Maybe some new skins that are coming out. The skins are hot, and they're coming at you hot, all right? Maybe you can pick one up, but nonetheless, we'll whisper you if you are, in fact, one of the winners. So exclamation point raffle in the chat to get it going. Here we are, though, the potential final game of the tournament, $10,000. And where are we at? None other than Salty Springs.
Where we
What hou-
landed, baby.
What house are we in? The same house we've been in nonstop. And as we see, look at this. I mean, crazy stuff going down. Hamlinz and Typical Gamer go hand in. They're like peanut butter and jelly when it comes to Salty Springs in this house, Ryan. They have been non-stop been going here. Hamlinz, and they switched positions, which is quite funny. Typical Gamer last time stole the sniper on the other side, while as Hamlinz went over to the chest, and vice versa. They switched sides, and at least they have a gentleman's agreement. And Hamlinz, curiously enough, is going to keep the bush. And I kind of do want to see a bush come out, especially in this this final game, and kills are going
Thieves
down.
comes in with the first kill.
Thieves, and then we see Daequan actually picking up a kill as well. So they're already split 1-1.
Or indeed off the break. Salty Springs, right? It gives you some presents from time to time. It looks like some more shots
are
coming in.
Thieves goes down.
Has been taken down, but not officially
Typical gamer
out of this
though.
match. And right now, if you're a typical gamer, you've got to be huddling over your squad mate, making sure he stays alive in this game because he is the ticket for what could be a $10,000 prize.
He's getting revived right now. You can see in the top left of the corner. So
Yeah.
the circle going. He is getting revived. It's going to leave him with only 30 health, though. Hopefully they have some sort of heals.
Wow, that is, I mean, talk about pressure off the start. Of course, Salty Springs has been relatively quiet in the past games that we've seen, but
And
now we've already seen some gunfights going down.
And I believe it actually is Typical Gamer who takes down the player who dropped Thieves. So question being, where is that guy lingering? It's actually Typical who does take him down officially. So not anything to be worried about as far as the future for right now. But actually, as things are kicking off, an explosion toward the middle portion of that building. I'm not sure who that was involved with necessarily, but Hamlinz actually has a bush. So there's that.
I'm just kind of curious to see the bush. Ninja popularizing that with his weird things going, I'm a bush, whatever. That's kind of awkward. We're going to drop that. But he does that. It's pretty cool. 1 kill coming down from Daequan, and players dropping left and right as we're seeing now. Currently 45 players remaining, 45 total engagements. Could potentially happen here, but they are going to still actually no 2 more kills coming in and more engagements, and again a player is going to be dropped. He gets dropped, but that's what we saw before, right? Now all players are going to be up, but look at the kill difference already. I think now they're going to be, or excuse me, Typical Gamer and Sword Thief are now going to be leading in kills. What by math is hard? 2 kills? No, 4 kills, 5 kills. 5 kills. I know that's
64 kills,
no,
65 kills, 66.
They're leading by 5 kills now. Because they were up 3 going into it. Now they have 2 up, so now 5 kills. That's a pretty good lead, at least recently.
It's absolutely nice to have.
This seems to be a pretty quick game. There's already only 43 players left on the map.
Yeah.
Things are moving quick.
They absolutely are. So, yeah, 12-7 right now. Hamlinz and Daequan down, obviously not out yet. The final map is underway. If you haven't been watching it so far, make sure to tweet it out. Let everyone know what's currently going down. Twitch.tv/UMG events. Let your family know. Cuddle around the television. Cuddle around the screens. It's about to get interesting. And as it currently stands, final map underway, and it looks like Dusty Divot, all 4 players hanging out in this crater as it's a party.
Yeah, Dusty Divot seems to be the area they all kind of huddle to, at least over time, for both of the teams here. Of course, once again, $10,000 on the line, and you're looking at Hamlinz. He doesn't have the best of an inventory. Of course, it is kind of decent.
He does have a bush, though.
He does have the bush, which could come in handy later on down the road, especially now that he's hitting the grassy area. But he has 2 green weapons as well as the gray tack. But looking at Daequan, let's see his setup. He does, in fact, have that grenade launcher, which could come in handy. He has a green AR as well as a blue. And then, of course, he has that purple sub.
It's worth noticing, so Daequan obviously kind of specializes in that shotgun play double pump.
Exactly.
Has no shotguns in his kit right now.
It's the first time, I think, in probably the entire tournament that we have, like just under 40 players remaining. He doesn't have at least 1 shotgun.
I mean, I would say, too, like one of the big ways that the TSM team has gotten so many of their kills together are in close quarter shotgun engagements.
Oh, yeah,
they both have
absolutely.
very strong shotguns. So for both of them to not have a proper shotgun setup in their kit this late in the game on the final map of the tournament is a little it's a little scary for TSM.
Well, yeah, I think as far as the roles are considered for the TSM Fortnite team, both Hamlinz and Daequan are known for that up-close and personal fights. So these 2 guys, like you mentioned, Ryan, they want to be up in your face. They want to have those close engagements. And so the factor that, they don't really have what weapons they prefer themselves in mostly, it's kind of strange. And I think this could absolutely hurt them if the game continues to go on, because right now they're currently at a deficit. If they don't play better, if not just even toward a little bit an advantage toward Typical Gamer and Thieves,
and they seem to
we see another champion.
Well, like I said, they have a 5-kill lead. They seem to be kind of taking the strategy of following around the guys on TSM, harassing them. If anything, they just want to split kills at this point. Only 39 kids left. You're up 5. You just want to make sure you just don't let them get all the kills in the team fights. And obviously, Thief and Typical Gamer are 2 very good players, so they're not going to just obviously let TSM get all the kills. So, if you're Typical Gamer and Sword Thief, you're actually feeling pretty good right now. You have the better kits. I mean, obviously, they don't know what their opponent's kits are, but they have the better kits. They're rolling with them with the lead. TSM's really got to clutch up here.
Yeah, definitely a 5-point lead still, as it's kind of slowed down just a little bit. Of course, as we know, anything can definitely happen. But you know what? If I was TSM, I'd be a little bit worried, at least kit-wise. But hey, they can make some magic work, and some things could go down. And honestly, they're top-level players. With whatever they have, they can make it work, and we'll see so. And as we're going to see, Daequan is now, in fact, going to be in a gunfight here. He's going to be pushing up with that famous 2 staircase build, and of course his teammate is in fact going to be pulling up
the
right
leaves.
behind him, but the
Tree.
leaves get in the way, but nonetheless he's going to go ahead and persevere, and he does in fact get ahead. He's going to know there's a player just
No
below.
shotties.
No shotties in fact, but he still gets, oh no, look at Thieves, gets the knock. Typical gamer Thieves as well.
A
That's
lot of
huge
kills
for
going
them.
the opposite way.
Hamlinz does get a kill, but nonetheless that's 1 to 2
They can't
kills.
afford to trade kills like
They
this.
cannot afford to trade kills. But
Yeah,
you-
they can't have another team fight happen exactly like that, because if so, this game is over. The series is done, and in the finals, champions are going to be Typical Gamer and Thief, right?
I actually think Thief and Typical Gamer got 2 kills there.
I think they did get 2 kills.
Yeah, so they're not only are they not trading kills, they're actually
Not
furthering
finding
their
them
deficit.
at all. Yeah,
Right. No, that's something you don't want.
starting
as
to stretch
TSM.
away.
And the problem
Yeah.
is you can't break away from Typical Gamer and Sword Thief. Because obviously they're going to
Right,
know where
they're
they're
on
at.
the same team.
They're on
And
the same
this is the
team.
perfect strat. I mean, they're like I said, they're literally on their heels. Any engagements, they're at least going to have a hand. Like there's going to be at every single killing opportunity, there's going to be at least one shotgun pellet, at least one AR shot that's going to be in the side of you at all times. So I love this strat from them. Granted, a lot of people can kind of hate on it, but this is the smart way to play. If you want to win $10,000, you're going to do anything that you possibly can, and they're playing the smartest way that is, which is of course sticking with the enemy and always having the opportunity to take away their kills.
And if we can get an updated scoreboard just to kind of see how it's going down. Of course, still 20, 29, or 28 engagements still left. Okay, that's still quite a few to make some magic happen, right? We've seen both sides drop, okay? So we do know that blood has been seen. They're not invincible, right? So we can see both sides drop or whatever. We're going to now see, once again, a Dusty Divot push from Daequan. Hamlinz is going to be joining up right behind him. We do see some massive building going up top. Daequan looks like he
This
might
is
be
a huge moment in this game.
This is huge for Daequan as well for the TSM crew. He's going to be the first one to engage here.
And also, Daequan is alone. Like, Hamlinz isn't right next to him. He has to go big in this situation, and the reason being is that they've finally furthered the distance. This is the opportunity for Daequan to bring them back into this match, bring him back into this game, and it happens to be against a very fantastic building player. Awkward engagements taking place as one player just happens to seek himself down the mountain, and it looks like maybe Hamlinz can join alongside in the fight. All three players firing from a distance.
Thieves.
But can
Some more
Daequan
kills.
find him? Thieves ends up dropping one. There goes the loot, and along with the excess drop. So not a whole lot here for Daequan. He had the ability to be the front man. But however, he lets the enemy catch up. He can't find the opposite player in time. And that's such an unfortunate circumstance that he finds himself in.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the unfortunate things, right, about the enemy team sticking by your
And
side.
Daequan, 17 health.
Daequan's at 17 health. It's going to be quite testy for him. Hamlinz has to come up behind him, and I don't know if Hamlinz is actually anywhere in the area, but it looks like we might have a player up there. I don't know if that's Hamlinz or if that's one of the enemy team, and that's actually
Typical Gamer and
Thieves.
Thief both getting kills.
And they're
This is
both
looking
in-
bad for TSM.
Oh, this is looking really bad for TSM. The engagements are lessening and lessening ever so much. Of course, coming into this game, Typical Gamer and Thieves already had a 5-point lead. Now they have even more. TSM struggling behind, but you got to respect Typical Gamer and Sword Thief. They
And
won't let any engagements go to waste.
They're not letting him breathe.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is that Hamlinz isn't even near this portion of the map. He's on a totally different section. He's trying to find kills alone, so essentially it's a 2-versus-1 swarm. Any engagements that Daequan gets, Typical Gamer and Sword Thief are always going to be there, and I believe we do see a little bit of some shots going down as, like we mentioned, Daequan trying to just get a little bit of a breather, but everywhere he goes, it's kind of a copycat right behind him. So solid plays coming in. You're going to see the revive come through from Typical Gamer onto a squad mate Thieves. That could have been a very bad situation. Thankfully, they're able to make it happen, but here comes the possibility
And
for
there
an,
it is.
there it goes.
Good stuff for
The
Hamlinz.
huge knockdown comes through there from
Hamlinz.
Hamlinz.
Yep. That's going to be
There's
big.
there's only 15 kills left on the map, and the deficit's still pretty large. They need to really push
They have to
everything
find
they
like
see.
90% of the kills,
Well, it seems
essentially.
like you mentioned they split apart, and it seems to
Here
be
comes
working.
the shots. Actually, a full squad rushing toward Hamlinz's point of view. He could absolutely turn the game around right here. Not one player from the opposite team can find these as it currently stands. This is the moment. Can Hamlinz bring them back into this game? Can he make
Nice
TSM
knockdown.
have the victory here for tonight? Back-to-back knockdowns, 3 in total for this game. Can he make it a fourth with this player here?
So
The
big.
shotguns are out. It's not Daequan. It's actually Hamlinz with the double shotguns, making the strategy work out. And just like that, we could be seeing TSM start to diminish this lead. It's by far getting close. How close is it is the question, but a huge moment there comes through from Hamlinz, at least making the game last a little bit longer.
I respect the split there. You know, it's a bit testy. It's obviously very risky, but it pays off in this situation. And for $10,000, you have to get risky, especially when you're down. Engagement still left, of course. We're still working on that scoreboard nonetheless, but I think it is relatively close. Of course, Typical Gamer and Sword Thief still leading the way, but with those 3 kills Hamlinz was able to get, they're going to bring the score ever so closer. TSM looking good, but the Storm, though, is in fact going to take some damage. That's okay, though. He does have a slurp juice there. He's going to be able to use as he's going to push forward. It's going to at least recover some of that health, but coming out of that Storm, he might even, in fact, come behind some of the opponents. You notice there is a big split. He has the potential to get into an engagement that Typical Gamer and Sword Thief just won't have time to get to.
Definitely possible. Going to go and pull out the slurp juice, like you said there, Taylor. A few players in his line say, "This is the moment. This is where it can happen." You don't see anyone else in this lobby is not looking toward this direction. Probably giving the call out to his squad mate right now, but he needs to find these 3 players in his line sight.
Look at the map, though. Typical Gamer is behind him.
Oh yeah, here comes Typical Gamer just on the flank. Hamlinz has to find these in quick succession. Really, if Typical Gamer was able to find just one, this could be the tell of the game. Here comes the build. Can Hamlinz find these? He needs the frags. Are they available?
He's just below.
He spots the legs. Here comes one. Can he find it? Yes. Finds one knockdown. Player just toward his right side needs to find this one as well. The quick build. Daequan falls, and it's all up to Hamlinz. Technically a permanent 1 versus 2 situation. Can he find the knockdown? The builds all left and right. Can he find this one in time? There's one. There's the second potential. 21 HP, and he's staying alive. Not a whole lot left. And he does find the knockdown. The huge play coming in from Hamlinz.
And a chug jug.
The chug jug. He has to put this one in now.
Does he have time to revive Daequan?
I don't know. I
don't even see where Daequan
look how far
is.
Daequan is in the map. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he realizes he's done.
At this point, is it even worth it?
And he realizes there's an enemy. There's an enemy right there, just toward his left. If he calls that one out to Hamlinz, that's another player, right?
Well, we'll see.
That's one of the left. That's one of the remaining
Thieves is there too, so I'm not sure if Thieves gonna try and stay alive or go for the kills.
Thieves does go down, though.
Thieves goes down.
And Thieves is going. Thieves is gone. Thieves is absolutely gone out of this. So now it's between Hamlinz and Typical Gamer.
It's a 1v1.
What was the lead that
they had 5 coming into the first round? Let's
take a look.
So Thieves,
it's tied kills right now, but there was a 5-kill lead coming in.
There was a 5-kill lead coming in.
So we're tied.
We're tied in this game, but that means that TSM is down 5 still.
Oh, but still
down 5 with
miracles.
With like 7 or 8 guys left. This is basically Hamlinz has to pull out some insane stuff, and with Typical Gamer on his tail.
Yeah, and I think Typical is going to play this same
he plays this smart
strategy, which is totally typical. It's absolutely expected, but Hamlinz, what can you do, my friend? What strategy can you try to pull out? And he's honestly just relying that the other players who are alive don't kill each other because they have to find these. A lot on the line. $10,000 could be going the way of Typical Gamer and Thieves, as it is a mono-e-mono situation. Final 8 players are up, and how do things start to line out? As it looks like Typical Gamer
just needs to stay alive.
Yeah, he's receiving some shots, and I believe just like that, I think one player nearly just got taken down. Hamlinz receiving some shots. It's a possibility that he.
Oh, that's Daequan going down.
That was Daequan going down.
That was Hamlinz for a second.
No, Hamlinz is actually still in an engagement over there.
He has to.
He has to engage.
We need to stay on with Hamlinz.
We need to stay on board with Hamlinz because he's the one who's going to make some magic happen here. Is Hamlinz? Look, just the intensity too. He is building like a madman. He gets above that player.
Typical Gamer gets a kill though.
That's probably the only one.
No, Typical Gamer got.
He stole the kill. He just stole that exact kill. What's the point for?
That is huge. Is that game?
That could be it.
It's got to be game.
And it looks like Typical Gamer does find one. Hamlinz finds the other. Of course, still waiting on the scoreboard to reveal what could be the end. But Hamlinz still playing strong, still trying to just in case.
4 killable players left.
I think it's fair to say Hamlinz either has to have all 4 or this one's done.
I think
it could be done right now.
I think it's done.
It could be done right now, and it might as well be. But, I mean, then again, you're looking at maybe Hamlinz doesn't know, or maybe Hamlinz does have an advantage and could make a comeback. He looks like he's pretty intense as well. He's still going for the kills. I mean, rightly so. Wouldn't you think he'd be a little bit more relaxed, at least on the screen, if he knew that it was mathematically impossible? I think there's still a chance.
Just like that, Hamlinz, there's the knockdown. He sees the other 2 players. Are we seeing a tie, or is this one already done? So many storylines, such little time as final players are up. We are currently just outside of Wailing Woods, and can anything happen right now for Typical Gamer. Can he find any excess kills just to make sure things are good?
He
does get the knockdown.
He gets a knock.
As Hamlinz finds one, though, Typical finds the other.
Typical Gamer
and
got
that
a
should
kill.
be it.
That should be it.
That should be done.
I don't. Yep. I mean, he picked up some massive kills. Honestly, I think the deficit was just about a kill or two down. But I think that's going to be the boys of Typical Gamer.
I think so. I want to hear official word.
I think they won by 4.
I want to hear official word before
There it is. They did win. You could see his reaction there. They know that it was mathematically impossible.
Yeah,
they
man.
take it. What a match. Typical Gamer
Woo!
picking it up. You see that replay. Taking it over TSM.
Oh, yeah,
Thieves and Typical Gamer, you can see the reaction. He's happy. He knows they just won it.
Yeah, I think they won by 4.
$10,000 split between the two. $5,000 is going to go into their pockets.
Look at that, baby. Yeah.
We have our Week 2 champions.
Look at how happy
Huge
they can
congratulations
be.
to Typical Gamer.
That is
and Thieves
massive. That is, you called it.
Okay, I would say I didn't necessarily predict them to win the finals. I just said I think they're a huge sleeper pick coming into this tournament. I think they definitely had a lot of potential. I'm not gonna give myself full credit and say, I totally predict them to win this one and in a second series. But hey, man, they played outstanding. Coming from a top 6 finish in last week, now leading into this one. All the credits to them, but of course, as much as you get to credit the victors, you also got to credit TSM for making it as far as they did. They obviously play very, very well. Of course, credit to Daequan and Hamlinz for finishing off in second place here for our Friday Fortnite 10K. But guys,